So what is Agile marketing? Let's begin answering that question by answering the question, well, what is Agile? In 2001, 17 people met at the Snowbird Ski Resort in Utah to discuss better ways to create software. Out of that meeting, they created the Manifesto for Agile Software Development. It consisted of 4 values, as in we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. And also it included 12 principles, as in our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Now today, Agile has been extremely successful in software development, where over 90% of organizations practice Agile in some aspects of their software development. But Agile is broader than software development. It has now been applied to many fields, including finance, HR, sales, and of course, marketing. Okay, so that explains Agile in terms of its history and how it's been applied. But how would you define Agile in a short sentence? Well, here are 4 very different attempts to define Agile. Now, what can we tease out about Agile from these definitions? Well, first, there seems to be a hierarchy here. The bedrock of Agile are the Agile values. The principles build upon those values. We then have the methodologies like Scrum, Kanban, and Scrumban, which in turn consist of a set of practices, things like daily stand-ups, sprint planning, the use of Kanban boards, etc. Second, a narrow definition of Agile is that it is a project management process. But a broader definition, and one that I adhere to and will teach in this course, is that Agile is a mindset. It's a mindset that gives individuals and organizations the ability to respond to change in order to succeed in an uncertain and turbulent environment. Do you remember the term VUCA that we talked about in the previous module? Broadly speaking, Agile is the answer to VUCA. Okay, now that we've answered the question of what is Agile, what specifically is Agile marketing? Well, if I'm asked casually at a party, for example, I tell them that Agile marketing is an operating system for marketing. Most of the time I don't go any further, but sometimes I tell them that it's a modern operating system for modern marketing, rather than the traditional approach to managing marketing, which has been around since the 1950s. Let's take a look at that traditional, or as it's sometimes known, the waterfall approach. In the waterfall approach, work flows downhill, dropping through steps with little or no feedback from customers along the way. The waterfall approach begins with a big strategy. We literally spend hours in meetings hashing out that strategy. The strategy is usually focused internally on us, our priorities, things like increasing sales or responding to competitors, rather than being focused on the customer's priorities. Next, we write a creative brief, and we hold at least one and sometimes several meetings to brief the creative team. Well, this has the potential for information to be lost in translation between those who came up with the strategy and the creative team. The creative team then creates something, an ad, an image, a video, or perhaps even a campaign. And the emphasis is on the need to rise above the noise rather than educating or helping the customer. Now, after many rounds of internal review, we then run the campaign, often spending millions of dollars over multiple months. Now, what happens if we spend all this time and money and the campaign isn't successful? Well, it's human nature to put the best possible spin on things. And what we do is that we find metrics like reach and frequency or impressions to help convince ourselves and the rest of the business that the campaign was successful, and we declare victory. Now, we fool no one other than ourselves. The result is that the rest of the organization doesn't trust marketing or our numbers. There is a better way. Let's take a look at the Agile approach. Agile starts with a little strategy. Rather than spending hours in meetings hashing out a strategy, we come up with our best guess about what is going to work. Let's call this a hypothesis. We build a test, and then we run the test. And after a short time, a week or two for most of us, as little as a day if we have high volumes of interaction with customers, we summarize the results and our learning, and we adjust our messaging and our content and our approach as appropriate. Now, I've shown 4 iterations here, but more typically, we can get 8 to 12 iterations done in the time that it takes to run the average Big Bang campaign. Let me tell you, we can learn a lot through running 8 to 12 iterations. We're also not afraid to fail. If a test fails, we learn, and then we try something different, secure in the knowledge that we spent only a small portion of our budget on something that didn't work. The Agile approach also means that we get to market sooner. So let's go to the next level with my more formal definition of Agile marketing. Now, there are a lot of words on this slide, so let's break it down into 3 digestible bites. In Section 1, Agile marketing is an approach to marketing that takes its inspiration from Agile software development. Now, primarily, that means that we use the same methodologies used by Agile software developers: Scrum, Kanban, and Scrumban. But we modify these methodologies to meet the needs of marketers. Now, in Section 2 of our definition are the values. And Agile marketing has 4 values, and I'll cover those in the next lesson. And finally, in Section 3, Agile marketing delivers specific benefits. Things like improved productivity, greater effectiveness, increased transparency, and the ability to adapt to change. So here's the summary. Unlike traditional marketing, Agile marketing is iterative, it's adaptive, its results are data-driven, and it is customer-focused. It uses cross-functional teams to allow customers to see work early and to test that work against customer receptivity. And it welcomes change, adapting to change quickly and efficiently.